Yeah, look, it's a good question. I mean, Sony's an interesting one because they just had such a consistent sort of series of attacks. I mean, Sony wasn't sort of one event. They had numerous flaws across multiple independent systems. It almost seemed to be a systemic problem within Sony that web security just wasn't something that was done. Now, I think also that the thing with Sony is the type of vulnerabilities that they introduced. So things like storing passwords without any cryptographic storage. I do think it's fair in this case that the ICO found them to be a little bit negligent. It's a very negligent thing for a company to handle credentials that way. And you know, one of the things we've got to remember as well, Phil, is that when we have situations like Sony where large numbers of credentials from customers are exposed, it's not just Sony that suffers. The password reuse is so high among consumers that what we see after a big breach like Sony is we see other services being breached as well. So after we had big issues with Gawker a couple of years ago, there was a lot of spam going out about acai berries on Twitter because the attackers would take the credentials from the Gawker breach and then they'd reuse them across Twitter. And it's an unfortunate thing, but I think in the case of Sony, they were right to cop a fine for that. And although it may not be a lot of money for a company that size, I think it sends a good message.